Today we're going to look at the right hand and specifically planting in preparation for playing arpeggios. And we're going to be looking at specifically what's known as a double arpeggio. And it's going to start out with the right hand pattern, starting with the thumb, index, middle, ring finger, then back again to the middle, index, and then the thumb. Okay, so it really is a 6-note pattern. So we're going to start with our thumb on string 6, and then we're going to have our index finger on string number 3, actually. We're going to have our second string with our middle finger, and then the first string with our ring finger. And then our fingers are going to be playing the upper notes exclusively on those 3 strings, and then our thumb is going to be alternating with the basses from 6, 5 to 4 and back again. So the arpeggio itself is this. We're going to start here with the thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index, and then it starts over again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you're going to cycle through each of the strings. Okay, so that's known as the double arpeggio. However, what we're going to do is at the moment you play with your thumb, you're going to put your fingers on the upper string. So you're going to play, and this is what's known as the plant. Now this is a full plant. All 3 of the fingers are coming down at the same time, and then you would play them one at a time in sequence. So you're going to start with the thumb while you're planting, and then play I, M, and then A. So when you get to the A, and you're going to play the first string, you're going to go back to the second string with your middle finger at the moment you play the first string. Now this is known as a sequential plant. So when I play my ring finger or my A finger, we're going to play ring to middle, and then middle to index. Now what's important here is that the moment that you play the first string, you're preparing to play the second string. So that happens on the beat. So I go from ring to middle, middle to index, and then index back to thumb. Okay, so descending, it's known as a sequential plant because you're doing it one at a time. Ascending, we're actually doing a full plant where all the fingers are placed simultaneously. So very slowly, I'll do it like this. So it's our initial plant. We play, and then we have our sequential plant, another sequential plant, and then another sequential plant going back to the thumb. So when I put it all together, it's going to look like this. Okay, now a really great way to practice this, you should always do it in time, so I'm going to get a metronome started. I'm going to put this at 60 beats per minute, and I'm going to play every other note. Okay, so the initial plant, I'm going to play and plant, and then play each note. Now I have a sequential plant, and you want to make sure that on the beat, you're preparing the next note. And this is what it looks like. Now what's important to note is that you should be doing this as relaxed as possible. So the only point of tension is when you actually initially play, and then your hand should be rested, not pushing and no tension, okay? And then so you just want to play and then relax with your fingers in place, play and relax, play and relax, play and relax. Now that is actually, it's kind of an experiential thing. You really have to do it a lot, but you want to make sure you're relaxing. So the slower you go, the easier it is, because what you're doing is actually minimizing motion, which allows you to play faster. And that's kind of the basic introduction to planting on the guitar, which you actually do for lots of things, but this is specific to the right hand. And the only thing that I'm going to add after that is at higher speeds, this becomes more of a subconscious thing, and you're not really thinking about it, and you're not really planting at higher speeds. You're just going through the strings. Okay, but you're really trying to minimize that motion as you play. So one way to think about it is you're programming your fingers to actually do this, and then over time it becomes a natural way to actually approach playing the guitar with the right hand. And that is planting. The piece I'm going to be looking at to kind of demonstrate the use of these arpeggios is a study by Mauro Giuliani, and it's from his Opus 48. This is number 5, and it's an E minor arpeggio study. So it goes through a series of chord progressions, and for most of the time it uses the same right hand pattern. Really, the only thing that's changing as far as the melodic content is what you're doing with the thumb, and there's one section where the melody moves up to the first string. But the right hand pattern is always going to be doing the same 6-note pattern, which is P for thumb, I for index, M for middle finger, and then A for the ring finger. So we call it P-I-M-A-M-I. So this basically it's that same arpeggio over and over again, but it pretty much goes on the 6th string and then to the 4th string. Okay, over 4 beats, right? And they're sextuplets, so you're actually playing very fast, right? That's kind of the general idea, but you want to play it smooth and evenly, so we always want to practice very slowly at first. So the way that I like to practice this is I actually break it up with a quarter note at 60 beats per minute, and then I'm playing a series of triplets over that quarter note. So it's going to sound like this in terms of practice. So for each beat, I'm going to be actually doing a triplet. Okay, so as the piece progresses, we go through a series of chord changes. So we start with like A minor, then it's going to go up through these different chords. So we have a pretty static left hand. We just have to know the chord changes, and then we really want to focus on what the right hand is doing. So I'm just going to give a quick demonstration of maybe the first few measures. At 60 beats per minute, just practicing on triplets.